Hey guys, Elijah here with WunderTRE again. Today I have a very special guest, Mike McDougal of McDougal Capital. So kind of tell us about your company, McDougal Capital, as it is holding things of that nature.
McDougal Capital is just my operating business. It's where we hold real estate assets. I've got a couple of apartment complexes in there, a couple office buildings, McDougal Co-working, which we're sitting in right now. And then just really other passive investments. I do a lot of startup investing, and I have no employees. It's just me, and so nobody to report to me every day. I have partners and other things like that, but no employees, and it's been great. This is starting my third year in this kind of phase. I spent 20 plus years prior to that just doing real estate.
Okay.
And so that really built up what I have today that allows me to go do what I like to do now.
Awesome. I like that. It gives you that free time in there. So right now, kind of what were you looking for if you needed? Were you looking for a client or a partner? Or is there something that you wanted to do here specifically?
So this building was actually our a corporate office building 20 years ago.
Okay.
Well, actually, we ran it for about 15 years, so we've been out of it for about 5 years, and so we built this building to operate in ourselves, and we eventually grew out of it, built a whole other facility, and so really just kind of looking. Originally, this was just real estate. So what do we do with this? And so we had a couple of tenants in here for about 3 or 4 years after we left, and then the last one moved out almost 2 years ago. And so we started looking around, just kind of thinking, a little bit outside the box. We're definitely outside this market.
Yes.
And saying, what's going on in other major markets that we could do here.
Mm-hmm.
And co-working kind of bubbled up.
Nice.
And so I've told people over and over, it's like, if you're looking for an office in Lubbock, just you or maybe 2 people, you're looking at making a 3-year commitment somewhere. I mean, even in my other office building that
Yes.
I have is downtown. I mean, I want a 3-year commitment from you, and you're going to get 1,000 square feet or more, which
Mm-hmm.
is probably more than you really need, but you got to take it. And there's no flexibility, and so a year down the road, if you need more space,
Mm-hmm.
well, you're locked in to what you've leased, or vice versa.
Yeah.
And so anyway, we didn't invent this model, obviously. I mean, we looked around in Austin and other markets where co-working really flourishes, and said, okay, what are these guys doing and why?
Mm-hmm.
And so what we came up with was this model where we don't have any contract. It's month to month. So if you need a desk this month, you need an office next month. You need nothing the month after that. I mean, that's fine. That's our model.
Nice.
And so we've found some success. I mean, we've been open actually just a year. We opened April of last year.
Yep.
So this is really our 1-year anniversary, and been very pleased as to where we've come from nothing to what we have today.
Absolutely.
But we've got some more to do here, and so that's why I'm still here. That's why I'm still active in this little segment of the business, and so we'll kind of keep going, and hopefully maybe look for a second location in Lubbock when we get this one stable.
Rolling. And I love what you've done, because it's kind of only taking, and some people say only, some people say not fast enough. For me, it's only because I've seen them from the beginning.
Right.
I saw the first, like Tumbleco and things of that nature, and they were around for a year or 2, but they really didn't boom or take off.
Right.
And I guess you were able to focus your energies enough to build it to what it was capable of?
Yeah, and so we actually, I met with those guys, Tumbleco,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, I know them personally, and I just met with them, and I said, okay, what happened,
Mm-hmm.
and why aren't y'all still in business? So,
Yes.
what y'all do right, what y'all do wrong? And so, tried to learn from them, and they were very gracious and meeting with us,
yes.
and
Absolutely.
kind of showing us what their model was. And really, what I think they told me, and what we heard was they just didn't have enough space.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they were a very small operation. The owners of that actually took up some of the space, so that kind of took away from some revenue potential.
Mm-hmm.
But they just didn't have enough space,
Yep.
which was encouraging if you're looking at opening one of these up, right?
You're like, what do I have?
Yeah, there's a market, and so we have 10,000 square feet here, so this is a pretty large facility, and so that's kind of why we headed down this road, and we gave ourselves a year. So we actually looked at it and said, look, this is a new concept in the market. people are not going to really understand kind of what we're doing. Co-working was not even a word in Lubbock. I mean,
like she said, she drove by, co-working, what does that mean?
Yeah, exactly.
People in Lubbock don't even know what Yelp is yet.
Right. And so we had some education to do, and I find myself still doing education with people, particularly when I tell them we don't do contracts, and they just kind of give me this blank stare. It's like, what do you mean you don't do contracts? I'm like, well, it's just not the model.
We're the uncarrier.
Yeah. And so we said, look, let's give this a year, and if it works, and we'll keep doing it. If it doesn't, then we'll stop and we'll go do something else. And so, as I said, we're a year down the road. Very happy with where we are today. Got a little more work to do here, and then I'm already kind of thinking about. It'd be nice to have a second location.
Yes.
Maybe downtown or maybe closer to the center, central Lubbock.
Okay.
Just to try to capture a little
over there in the Ranger Dykes area type.
A little different section. Yeah, like and I don't have any specific location in mind right now, but 34th Street is a great area.
Yes,
Central town. So. And really, eventually having two locations to where, if you're a member here and you just happen to be downtown and want to take a meeting, well, you can go do that.
Nice.
At a second location. So
I like that.
Something else to offer our people here, but also, something that we can kind of grab a different market. So.
Okay, more benefits along the line. That makes really good sense.
Right.
I really like, and I don't know how to kind of break into this. I like your mindset and the way you do things. As far as we're gonna mark this for a year, so we're gonna be patient for that amount of time. But you're also gonna work at it and actually put the investment time. Because you said your other companies, it kind of runs itself. The whole McDougal company kind of manages itself.
Right.
So did you get in there at the bottom and kind of do the same thing? You started with a couple of properties and then built them up, gave them a year to win or fail, and then drop them off?
Yeah, so I've been in the real estate market here in Lubbock since 1992.
Okay.
And so 20 years plus of growing that side of the business and very actively running the business. So not passive at all, but being involved, hiring employees, being on the ground every day, making changes, and so I've done that. And so we looked around, about 4 or 5 years ago and said, okay, let's kind of shift more toward the passive kind of income to where we can get something up and stable. My 2 apartment complexes, my other office building, so those are very stable. And so I've got a management company that's actually running the day-to-day operations of that. I still know what's going on. I still have a thumb on that, but I'm not running it. I don't get up every morning.
So what does that transition kind of look like? Like if you're a small business owner, I've got a couple of real estate friends and they manage 4 or 5 different companies. What does that handoff and that transition look like to where you still feel safe, it's doing well?
Right.
Like who are you looking for to run it? That kind of
right.
How do you think?
So fortunately, I have some partners that are still they're younger than me, and so they're out actively running businesses, and so the guys that I've turned over my real estate to are people that I've known for years. Actually, they used to be employees of mine, and so I have a lot of faith in them, a lot of trust in them, and so I don't worry about my apartment complex being managed right.
Yes.
They're doing that, and so while I don't have employees, I do have people out there that I trust.
Okay.
That are actually running those for me, and that's key. You can't just hand the keys off to somebody and go, well, let me know how it's going.
Yeah.
And so we talk every week, probably multiple times, and so I'm still, even though I'm passive, I'm still very much up to speed on what's happening at those properties. So it's passive in one sense, but maybe not 100% passive like I would
Absolutely.
A stock investment. I can just buy stock and
Yes. Well, see, one of the things that I've read was that you want to work on your business and not in it, and it seems like you found the way to do that.
Yeah, that's a great. I've never really thought about that, but that's exactly what I'm doing.
Because you see so many people who after 20 years or whatever, they're I'm done, I'm tired, blah blah blah, because they've been basically working for themselves.
Right. Right. And I used to tell people all the time. I said, I've heard people that say, well, I'm going to quit my 9-to-5 job,
yes,
so that I can have control of my own schedule and do my own thing, which is so I'm going to start my own business, which is just ridiculous. I'm like, I never worked so hard when I had 200 employees and I had my own business.
Mm-hmm.
That's hard. That's hard work, and it's everyday work. Matter of fact, it's 7 days a week work.
Yes.
Because people that live on my apartments, they don't they don't go somewhere else on the weekends. I mean, they're still there, right?
Yeah.
And so, so it really is a 24/7 operation. And so to try, to get to the point where you can step, literally kind of outside of the business, leave people in there that I trust to run it, but then I'm kind of on the outside.
Yeah, looking in.
And
it gives you a broader perspective.
It gives me a broader perspective, and plus I can go pursue other interests that, if I was just in real estate, I mean, that's 100% of my time, 150% of my time. And so now that I've stepped out of that, I'm able to go do a lot of other things that I find joy in, that are fun.
So now there's the freedom over. So you have to put your time in. Regardless.
Absolutely.
If you're running in, there's no these 23-year-old entrepreneurs you see, you're like, yeah, I'm gonna go be a millionaire, work on the beach and blah blah blah. You put that 150% time in, 10, 15, 20, 30 years.
Right.
Now, where you are now passively, and that's what I respectfully speaking on your business from the outside.
Right.
Was that a goal that you had set earlier on, or did it just happen?
It was a goal. It was a goal probably, maybe 15 years in that career, and you start kind of looking around, just like, do I want to work this hard, for the rest of my life?
65?
Yeah, do I want to work this hard until I'm 65? The answer to that is no. I don't. And so let's start putting some plans in place to where I could step away, and that's what happened back in 2015 officially. And so, but those plans really probably started really years before that, and maybe not in written form. And here's what's going to happen. Here's all the steps I want to do.
Okay, so you didn't line it out, but you knew you needed to.
Not really, but just starting to kind of formulate some ideas about how could this evolve and how could this work.
Okay.
And so that, and really even in the last 3 years, we've made some adjustments along the way. It's like, hey, this isn't quite working quite, so let's shift a little bit. And so that's kind of where we ended up.
So these guys that are running your business, they used to work for you and they were business partners that came in. Were these guys that you intentionally developed to think like you? Do they think, what would Mike do?
Well,
in this situation,
I would hope that they learned over the years, working for me as an employee, that they're out there doing what I would do if I was out there
in that situation.
So,
is that something that's important to you?
Absolutely. I mean, because I can't really trust somebody if they're just out doing whatever they think
they should do.
Hopefully, we're on the same page. But yeah, I mean, so it's it's guys that are that know. That know when to call me, when to communicate with me. I mean, is this significant enough that I need to tell Mike about it, or I need to ask Mike for advice on this, or is this just something I know what he would do? Let's just go do it. And
exactly.
So it's finding that right balance to where they're not calling me every day, but calling me enough.
Exactly.
Calling me enough to let me know what's happening. And so that's kind of the right balance. And so when I have guys that literally I've worked with, trained, helped for 15 years, I trust them. And so they're out now, kind of where I was 15 years ago. Is they're out working hard, and they're actually looking towards something later on that that maybe they could be sitting where I am.
Yes.
And have somebody else. But
so you kind of help them set those goals. What is that development process for you look like? When you have a really good employee that you like them, how do you think about how you're going to invest in them, and what are some of the specific things that you would teach them? Usually an employee is hired because they have a certain skill set, right? And so so that's my first thing. I'm gonna hire somebody because I need a particular skill that you have, and I'm comfortable that you can go do that. And so that's kind of first. Okay.
And then after that, it's like, okay, now I need to teach this person some other skills, and not that they've got to go do all these other things, but I mean, they've got to have enough knowledge about these other things so that eventually they can maybe supervise. Let's take HR, for instance. Most people don't come in with a knowledge of how human resources works and all the laws around hiring and firing and all that kind of stuff. But I need to train somebody so that they can hire that skill and supervise that. Same with advertising and all these other areas. And so trying to take somebody's core skills and making sure that they're working in those core skills well, but then broadening their horizon a little bit. Because I mean, if I've got one guy who's only done one thing for 15 years, well,
that poor guy's probably gonna be out of a job.
at the end of 15 years, I certainly can't turn over something else to him, right?
Yes, yes.
So trying to find a way to broaden their skill set. And like I said, not that they've got to go out and do maintenance or they've got to go out and do something, but have enough knowledge where they know whether it's being done properly or not.
And how to solve the problem.
Yeah, and so that's kind of what I've done. Is like they've got a great skill set. I don't need to worry about that skill set. They can run with that. But now let's broaden their perspective. Let's broaden their education, their experience a little bit, so that if I need to turn something over to them, I can, and I'm comfortable doing that.
Gotcha. Okay, well that makes perfect sense then.
Yeah.
So kind of going through, how old are your kids-ish?
My kids are elementary school, so I've got a kindergartner and a second grader.
Nice,
I started late in life, but
so that makes perfect sense. So going forward, especially now where technology is, as far as Google's concerned, learning things online, they're saying that universities are going to have a declining need, and then of course the knowledge will no longer be a valuable asset. It's going to be morals and values, characters, things of that nature.
Right.
What kind of like, I guess, morals and values are kind of instilled in you as a child as you kind of grew up, stuff that people should?
So we try to raise our children. Number one, their education is important. I mean, they need to be committed. I mean, we're big people in reading books.
Yes.
I mean, even like real books. I mean, not just online, and we do all that too. I read my paper online, but I want my kids to understand and appreciate books. And so they read all the time. As a matter of fact, our teachers are always impressed that our kids are they'll give them 3 books to read and they'll go read 6. I mean, and so that's something that education, regardless of where universities go or whatever. If my kids love to read and love to learn, then it doesn't really matter
for anything.
how they go about that or how technology evolves in that area. So that's the first thing that I think
love and knowledge
in our family
love
is
of learning.
Love books and love to read and love to learn.
Okay.
And so that's first. Our kids grow up with church, and so we go to church every Sunday and Wednesday nights. It's just kind of part of the fiber of our family, and so faith is important to us, and we try to pass it on to our kids. At some point, they have to decide, is this Daddy's faith or is this mine?
Yeah, absolutely.
We're not there yet. I'm still dragging them along, but eventually they'll be old enough where they have to make that decision, and so hopefully we've instilled enough in them that they can make a good decision at that point. And so so faith is important in our family. Learning is important, and then as I said, just family. My schedule now, where I'm not tied to an office. I mean, I was just like this morning. I mean, my kids, I get my kids up and eat breakfast with them, and they're off to school before I even think about taking a shower, getting dressed, or whatever. So they're off to school, and then I go about my day, appointments, or whatever else I have to do. But usually, about 3:30 or 4 o'clock when they get out of school, I'm home.
Nice.
And so we're available to go play baseball, which we're doing right now, or just hang out at the house, or whatever. And so we're spending a lot of time with family. Whereas if I was still deep in a career like I was for so long, 6:30, 7:30, before I get home, that's bedtime.
They're already asleep.
Yeah. Kids are going to bed at 7:30.
You're gone before they wake up and they're asleep.
Exactly.
I didn't see my dad till I was 14.
Right, and I realize, that's probably, that's the majority of what happens nowadays, and you do what you have to do. I get that. I'm fortunate that I've kind of done that. I had kids later in life, so now I'm able to do. To kind of reap the benefits of my career, but still spend a lot of time.
Is that something you would recommend to people? Is that a little bit of wise advice there, that maybe build your career, or at least 25, 28?
I've always said, what's the hurry?
Yes.
I got the rest of my life. I got the rest of my life to do that. And so having kids at 20 or 22, I just think it's.
It seems like it's kind of been a blessing of sorts. So you've got the wisdom. You're a little bit older. I also know, of course, the older you are, the better parent you tend to be.
Well, hopefully there's a little more wisdom that comes, as you get older. And so as I said, that wasn't really a conscious decision.
Of course.
That either one of us made, but it's just the way life turned out. And so, but it's I'm very fortunate.
Looking back,
I'm very
seems to have
fortunate.
worked out well for
I
you.
was dumb at 20. Really?
I agree.
I was dumb.
I agree.
Maybe somebody else is a lot wiser than me, but so it's been nice to kind of have the benefit of that. Now I will say there's a balance because you wait too late, and I mean my gosh, my kids run all the time and going to baseball. I mean, it can be exhausting for an old guy like me.
Exactly right. Run down your energy pretty
Exactly.
quickly. What are maybe some of the biggest challenges in your personal life that you've kind of learned from?
Oh gosh, I mean where do I start? I mean,
but I'm sure there's maybe like 2 or 3 that really kind of stood out. You wrestled with for 3 months to a year.
Yeah, I mean, changing careers, and so really, I've changed careers now 3 times.
Okay.
In my career, I was a accountant when I first got out of school.
Oh wow.
And so I was going to be a big, I guess, it was a big 8 at the time, big 4 now, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Accounting, auditing, kind of thing. That's what I trained for. That's what I did. It's what I had intentions of doing, forever. And then one day I'm like, wait a minute, let's find a better way to make a living. And so I came out here and got involved in real estate and really built my career around that. And then, as I already said, about 3 or 4 years ago, I was like, okay, wait a minute.
Yes.
Done that for long enough. Let's shift and let's try to do something different. And that's when I got into helping with startups and getting involved with new businesses and really trying to help other people kind of build their dreams.
Okay. You find that important?
I really do. I mean, it's new business startups is one of the most matter of fact, maybe the riskiest thing that you can ever do.
Absolutely is.
The failure rate of new businesses is just atrocious.
Atrocious.
But there's a lot of fun in that, and hopefully we can make a little money along the way.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe somebody will learn from something.
What do you think is one of the biggest causes there of these? Because it's 80% of small businesses fail in the first 5 years.
Yeah.
So what are the main 3 reasons?
So one of the things, and I've already seen this in startups. I mean we saw this really a little bit here in this co-working idea that we had is that you have to be willing to shift. You have to be willing to pivot. Pick the word you want to use.
Okay.
You've got to be willing to change your perception of how this was going to go. And so I've got this great technology. This is going to revolutionize X, whatever it is. But then the market says, well, you know what? That's a great technology, but it really could be utilized more this way. And I've seen so many different businesses go, nope, this is my idea. I'm going to march down this path, until I'm bankrupt.
Yeah.
And I'm going to keep going. I'm not listening to the market. And so just shifting.
So listening to the market, being able to shift with
shifting.
it.
And we
How does
saw
one
that.
listen to the market?
Well, so we saw that here. I mean, we really, and you kind of look out, look through this door over here. I mean, we've got private offices here, and we've got shared space.
Mm-hmm.
And the private offices have gone great. The shared spaces have not gone so great, and so that's the area that we're continuing to work on and just trying to find what's the right place in the market for the truly shared space where I've got a desk here, somebody else got a desk right there,
right in front of me.
Yeah. And so we're still struggling with that, and we're still trying to find the right fit.
Okay.
But we've shifted our focus a little bit over the last year in that area. And still kind of looking for the right way to go. And so,
So who is your client base? You're still trying to figure that out as far as that's concerned.
Yeah, because, I mean, and we listened to the market a little bit before we opened here because really our concept originally was this is all shared space. And so we'd come in here taking all the walls down and just kind of gone with that. But when we listened to the market, this was before we opened. We listened to the market, look what people other were doing. It was like first of all, we've already got private offices built. I mean, these were already here, and so let's utilize those, and then try to do this co-working shared space in the middle of the building. And so we listened to the market a year ago, and that was good because the private office part has really gone great.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're still trying to work on the other.
So it may be something where Lubbock isn't ready for that. And so, because what I kind of heard from some of the guys, like, man, I wish they'd take these desks out of here and just put another office.
Yeah.
And so that may be something that you do down the road.
Well, and I'll tell you, so right now, on in that area, we're working on some things upstairs with some members that need a little more space. And if that comes to fruition, I mean, I'm talking like maybe later this year. If that comes to fruition, well, we're probably going to come downstairs and at least make the shared space smaller and maybe put another couple of offices down here
because that's what's selling.
That's what the market is asking for.
Yes,
but
I want in the West Texas, I want a private office.
Yeah. But back
I'm willing to pay.
Yeah, but back to my point is that if we weren't willing to listen to that and just say, nope, I'm going with shared space, and I don't care if I ever get a lease, I'm gonna go down this road. Well, that's just suicide.
Yes.
You know, and so regardless, I mean that's really the biggest thing with startups, and you know, and even existing businesses. I mean, the market changes. You know, you could be 3 years into a new business and the market changes.
Yeah.
You gotta always be listening and be willing to set your mind that your dream, maybe set that aside and go, well, you know, I can still accomplish my dream down this path.
So perspective and being reasonable, emotionally detached from your want.
Yeah.
Okay. And so what do you do for market research? So you said you spoke with the guys whose co-working space went under.
That's right. Yeah, that was the very first thing we did was somebody else has tried this.
Beautiful.
So let's figure out why. And so we did that. We went to other markets and just physically looked at spaces and looked at what they were doing, how they operate, things like that. We actually hired a consultant out of Austin that is, you know, knows a whole lot more about this space than we did, and we paid him or them to come here, advise us on what this building might look like, how we might operate it, and then they actually just kind of did a little market study for us. They went to coffee shops and just kind of looked around, you know, are these students that are in here, are these people working, you know, and basically they came back, and if I remember the number right, I think they came back and said, look, the Lubbock market right now, so this was a year and a half ago, Lubbock market could stand about 4,000 bodies in a co-working space. 4,000. I mean, not in a co-working space,
of course.
In the market.
In the market.
And so I'm looking at this building and going, well, you know, I only need about 40 or 50.
Absolutely.
So I need a very tiny sliver of that to make this work. And so that's what eventually drove us to say, okay, let's go down that path.
And we're gonna get, and you were very reasonable, 1 year. If it doesn't fail, we'll figure something else to do.
Yeah, and so I mean, it would have been really easy. You know, 3 months into this thing, going, man, this is, you know, I got. You know, well, actually, I think we got 12 people up here like pretty quick, which I was really happy with. But then it kind of dried up somewhat. And so 90 days in, we could have just gone, let's just put this thing on the market and find a tenant. You know, but as I said, we gave ourselves a year. We said we're going to do a year, and then we'll reassess from there. And I'm a year in, and we're happy. We're gonna keep going.
Yeah, we're gonna keep going.
We're gonna keep going.
And it's only $10 for the first week, so come try it out. It's awesome.
Right. That's right.
Okay, and so now I guess we can just kind of, as far as reading, you said it's a really big thing for you. What are you reading right now?
So I'm reading a book. I'm reading a book called Whisper right now.
Whisper.
It's a faith-based book about basically listening to the voice of God.
Gotcha.
I do, and so my reading plan basically is I'll read some kind of faith-related book.
Okay.
And then I'll read a business book.
Okay.
And so the last business book I read was called Lean Startups, which makes sense, right?
Yeah, for what you're doing, capital
doing.
investing.
And so I've read about that and trying to get a little knowledge into that. And so so then next time I've got a couple of books kind of in the back of my mind that I might go with next, but that's kind of how I like to do it. So I kind of like to read kind of a faith-based book, and then I'll kind of read a business book, and kind of go back and forth. So like I said, so try to keep myself balanced.
The physical and the flesh.
I'm not always running one way versus the other, and so
perfect.
Those kind of the last two books.
So what's a book or a specific set of books that you've read that you really had to wrestle with and have transformed how you think?
Oh gosh, it's tough. Like I said, I read so much that I'm like, I really can't. I don't know that I can answer.
Because I probably do myself. I probably read about 3 or 4 books a month, and so I know still that there's like Acre of Diamonds, Think and Grow Rich, Love Richest Man in Babylon. Those are some really big ones that kind of transform how you think from normal perspective. You know, just stuff they don't teach you in school.
And this really goes back a while in my career. But I mean, I read for a long time. I read a lot of time management type books.
Okay.
And I think of a single name right now off the top of my head, but I mean, because just as our business grew and you get so many irons in the fire, so to speak. I mean, you can get overwhelmed quickly, and so I focused for a long time, maybe a couple of years, on looking at different time management techniques and things to do to help me do that. And so now I look around, and I mean, I'm very organized. Of course, that's probably just part of my nature anyway. But I'm very organized. I can have multiple projects going at the same time, and it doesn't overwhelm me because I keep them fairly organized. And that really comes from those days when I was reading about time management and how to deal with that, because frankly, I saw a lot of my colleagues, well, their time management was, we'll just stay up here till 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
I'll just add 4 hours to my day. That's how I'm going to manage my time. Well, I mean, that's
so what are some time management tips that you could share?
And so, I have a notebook, journal kind of thing sitting on top of my desk, and so every single day, I mean, I'm keeping a list of things that I need to get done. And sometimes, I get them done that day. Sometimes it takes me 2 or 3 days, but I mean, I'm checking those things off as I go. And so as I'm out and about, and I'm like, oh, I need to do this, or I need to take care of that, I get that on my list, and then I don't have to worry about that. So I don't have to sit here and go, okay, I have 3 things to do today. Well, what are those things? And so I have those. I've done this for probably 20 years. I have four folders in the front of my desk drawer. The first one is labeled today. These are things that I got to get done today, right? This week is the next folder, next week, and then pending. So those 4 folders, and those 4 things, I go through. I mean, obviously the today folder, I'm in every single day. Usually all 4 of those, every couple of days, I'm flipping through those to say, okay, what I have out there, what I have next week. And then before I leave on Friday, I update those folders. So I'll move, next week to this week. But it's just a real simple way of keeping everything, keeping my priorities straight. It's like, if this needs to be done today, it goes in this folder, and I don't leave until that folder's done.
The folder must be empty.
Now sometimes I say, well, maybe this
week.
But that's something I learned, years ago,
and it's helped you all the way along.
Oh yeah, and I still do it. Even in my home office, I got those 4 folders. I got lots of other folders, but I mean, those 4 I look at on a daily basis.
So it seems like a lot of the key to success of your life was the time management skills that you set in place 20 plus years ago.
Yeah.
And that helps you out so much.
Yeah, because I mean, even today, I mean, I've got 4 real estate deals going on. I'm working on due diligence for a new startup that I'm working with. Mm-hmm. I've got 7 or 8 other probably at this point new startup stuff that's in something going on with it. Now it may not be for another month, but I've got something going on with it. Yeah. Well, that's a lot of things up in the air, but I keep those things organized, and so I know what I've got to worry about today. I know what I got to worry about this week. Everything else, that's for later.
Yes.
And so I don't. It's easy.
So you're able to focus and actually complete one single task.
Yeah.
And so that focus is what helps you specifically. Instead of, like you said, staying until 10 p.m. doing a million things, right. This task done, this task done, this task done, and that's so important to what you do in order to succeed.
It really is. And like I said, the first, when I have a lot of employees, I mean, you come into my office and you don't see papers and stacks and stuff like that. I mean, because
is this something you taught your employees as well?
That's a waste of time.
Yes.
Yeah. Going through.
And if they're wasting your time, they're wasting the company.
Exactly.
They said the average employee loses the company $10,000 a year.
Oh, I'm not. Yeah.
Because of that. Yeah, that would be on the low end.
That'd be absolutely. But starting my day, at least in my case, I start my day with those folders. What's going on today. I usually end my day with those same things, and I definitely end the week like that. And so when I go home on Friday,
you've done.
I'm not.
You feel satisfied.
I have nothing else to do until Monday. There's nothing pending. Because if you're in a business, particularly if you've got multiple things going on, there's always something that I could be doing.
Yes.
Always.
You're a firefighter, right? At that point.
The question is, which of those things are important today or this week?
What's
and what are those things that can, yeah, they need to be done, but next week is fine.
I
The week
love
after
it.
is fine.
I love it.
Because otherwise, I'm in my office till 7:30, 8 o'clock,
Always.
working on
It
something.
doesn't matter. Yeah, because there's always something to be done.
Right.
And so you find the few vital tasks that must be completed,
Absolutely.
and then knock those out.
Yeah, and usually, in my it's not a trick, but you know what I tell people is, you know, do the hardest thing first.
Mhm.
You know, whatever task you
Eat
have
the word.
today, do the hardest thing first.
Yep.
Because I can get motivated to go back to my office at 2 o'clock in the afternoon and do 3 or 4 things that I had pending.
Mhm.
You know, but that hard one, it'll wait till tomorrow.
Mhm.
It'll wait till the next day.
So as soon as you wake up, knock out that one thing.
I jump on that first. If I got a hard phone call to make, if I got a hard, you know, conversation I need to have,
Mhm.
I'm probably having it first thing in the morning.
Oh, guys, that's beautiful information. I don't care if you're a stay-at-home mom, whatever it is, you do that hard task first, and it just makes your day go by so easy.
The rest of
So that's
the rest of
perfect.
it you can knock out in no time.
Well, do you have any questions for me, man?
And I appreciate the opportunity. Like I said,
Me too.
we always welcome more people coming and checking out our space.
Please.
And one of the things we've been you know really trying to educate the community on is that a lot of what we're doing here is about social interaction. And so the more people, the more activity we have up here, the better. And so I don't really care what kind of business somebody's in. But,
Exactly.
just that, you know, being able to interact with other people that have nothing to do with your business whatsoever, it's beneficial. You know.
Yeah, I'm doing social media. I've been great friends with Bo over here in insurance.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's awesome.
It's great. So
Thank you so much, Mike. I really
appreciate it.
appreciate it.
Okay.
So
Thank you very much.